How's it going, everybody? As usual, when a new set releases, I have a pack opening video for you today. I'm going to be going through a ton of Strixhaven packs. I've got 64 of those and 6 gold packs, so that's 70 packs. It's going to be a really big amount of cards, more than usual, in fact. I still got all these just from saving up for the past month or so from the Turtle set. Didn't have a lot of extra packs that I wanted to get from that, so I started saving up, and I ended up with this many packs this time. It's quite a few. I encourage everybody else to do the same. Like, when you got about a month left until the new set's coming out, just stop buying packs, hoard up your gold, and save it up so that you can buy the packs from the new set, and you'll end up with a huge chunk that you can complete of the collection of that. I even also have my little vault progress here I'll be able to cash in on at the beginning of this set here, so I'll be able to get some more wild cards. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start opening up packs 10 at a time like I normally do. I'm going to be reading through all the cards. I could just go to the rares because I know those are what people mostly care about, but this is a good opportunity for me to educate myself on the cards in this set and see what I think of all of them as well. I have seen some be used in like the pre-release and stuff like that, but I think as far as getting myself knowledgeable of the entirety of the set, this really helps me, so I hope it's helpful to some of you, because I know not a lot of people watch these pack opening videos, but I think they're pretty fun. Just so happens, too, that this set is releasing on my birthday. Today, the day that I'm recording this, at least, is my birthday, so I'll be opening all these packs for that. I'll actually be uploading this video tomorrow, but anyway, still kind of fun having the set come out on my birthday. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the first 10 packs. Got a lot of stuff here, which is fun. Let's see, we've got Tome Blast, 2-drop sorcery. Tome Blast deals 2 damage to any target. You can flash it back for 5. Actually not terrible. I don't think it's as good as like a lightning bolt or anything like that, and it's certainly not as good as a shock except for the flashback. You still also have the 2-drop that can be cast for like 5 as 4 damage instead, or the 1-drop that can do that. So I don't think there's any use case for this unless you're just wanting more additional burn, but I don't think this one's good enough to be used in standard. We've got Melancholic Poet. Interesting. 2-drop 2/2 Elf Bard in black. Maybe there's some availability for more elves in the Golgari colors here, which could be fun. It's got Repartee, I think is how you would pronounce that ability. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I actually really like that, and this would be good in a crime-style deck. Just having this dude out on the battlefield is going to give you a lot of value from committing crimes, so that could be a fun thing to reintroduce right now. We've got Cheerful Osteomancer, is a 4-drop 4/2 target, or this creature enters prepared. The way that I understand this prepare ability working is as long as the creature is prepared, then you can do the other half, the sorcery Raise Dead on this one. You pay 1, return target card from the graveyard to your hand. For 1-drop, that's not that bad, but this is a 4-drop 4/2, which isn't that great of a creature. Means that ideally, I guess you'd be paying 5 mana to get it out and do its ability on the same turn. And since it's not a to the battlefield but a to your hand effect, it's probably not the best either. But this is a common, so I mean that's a really powerful common, especially if you're doing draft or something that gives you a lot of value. Muse's Encouragement, 5-drop instant, create a 3/3 red and blue elemental creature token with flying and surveil 2. Okay, so you get a token. It's a 3/3 for 5 mana basically, but you also get to do a surveil. Not amazing, but still at least has a lot of dual value. You might use this, again, in a draft or something. It'd probably be very usable still. Adventurous Eater is a 3-drop 3/2. This creature enters prepared, and it has the Have a Bite sorcery. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature, you gain 1 life. That's not too bad, again, for like a 1 mana value get. Pretty interesting. 3/2 isn't the best in the world, but a 3-drop like 4/3, or the fact that you can put that counter on something else, I don't know. It certainly is better than just a 3-drop 3/2 on its own, because it has that dual value. We have a Johnny's Response, a 5-drop instant. This spell costs 3 less to cast, If it targets a tapped creature, destroy target creature. Okay, so this is a 2-drop kill spell as long as it's targeting a tapped creature. That's actually fine. We've seen a lot of those types of spells in the past. So this one probably does have its value, absolutely would be pickable in draft, and is probably usable in standard, actually, just as like a 2-drop kill spell most of the time, so not too bad. Pest Mascot is a 3-drop in Golgari colors, 1 black, 1 green. It is a Pest Ape, 2/3 with Trample. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. So that's very interesting. We're seeing a life gain mechanic in the Golgari colors. Absolutely could be played into, and a 3-drop 2/3 with Trample actually is pretty good, especially since it has the ability to grow just from you gaining life, which is very easy to do in Golgari colors, actually, because we do have a lot of gain and drain from black, and there are a lot of things that create food tokens and stuff in green, so very, very usable, I think. You could probably actually put this in a decent standard deck if you played around it, and if there are other effects that support this in this, you know, type of color combination. Banishing Betrayal, 2-drop instant, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand and surveil 1. I think the good thing about this is that it says to its owner's hand, meaning you could blink your own stuff and get that surveil ability. That isn't the worst thing in the world, actually. So, yeah, this could be used. I know Blink is actually pretty viable right now from what I've seen of the pre-release, playing in Jeskai colors, so this is probably pretty usable. We've got, I think I passed over some of these here too unintentionally. Grapple with Death, 3-drop in Golgari colors, destroy target artifact or creature and you gain 1 life. So that plays into, like I was saying with that other card. The only thing I will say is that it's a 3-drop kill spell, which isn't the best, and you're only gaining 1 life, which isn't huge, so I don't know that this would be used specifically a lot in Standard, but will be fantastic in Draft. I think Golgari colors so far are looking like they'll be really strong for Draft. Seize the Spoils. This is a reprint, because I've seen this card before. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards, and create a treasure token. So if you're playing a discard draw or reanimator style deck, this will feed into it very nicely. Yeah, I don't know how I went over those. I'm a little tired. Let's say just a little bit, because I was working on some of the challenges before the set rolled over to 12 or noon today where I'm at, so... Banishing Betrayal, we did look at that. Already saw Adventurous Eater. We've got the Stadium Title Mage, 4-drop in Azet colors for 4 Jin Sorcerer. So it's not an elemental, which matters because elementals are so big right now. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So that's good for the draw discard stuff that they want to be doing. I don't know that this would be used in it just because it's so expensive, but maybe in like a budget Azet deck this could be worth using. Wilt the Heart. Boros colors, so red, white, and 2 is a 4-drop instant. This spell costs 2 less to cast if 1 or more cards left your graveyard this turn. Wilt the Heart deals 5 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. It's kind of a lot. It's expensive on its own. It is only a 2-drop if you get the value of getting something back from your graveyard. And then... you know, deal 5 damage to target creature, so it's creature specific, but you could exile that creature. I don't know, it's interesting, but I feel like you'd have to work around it a lot. It's not as clear-cut as just dealing the damage or, you know, working with your graveyard functionality, so I'm not sure about it. Pull from the Grave in black is a 3-drop sorcery. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, and you gain 2 life. That's really not that bad, and it's because it lets you pick 2 things. 3 mana for 2 cards from your graveyard, or 2 creatures from your graveyard, isn't that bad. Still, it would be nice if they hit the battlefield, but the fact that it gains life too also means that it stalls the game just a little bit to give you a little wiggle room to actually get those cards back to your hand and replay them. We've got Rearing Embermare is a 5-drop 4/5 with reach and haste. It is a horse. I don't see a lot of horses in Standard, but yeah, as a whole, it has reach and haste, which is pretty good. It's a good blocker and can attack right away, which don't necessarily go well together, but it means that it could do either immediately for you, which is useful. And as a 4/5, it's got a good enough body size to where it's viable to throw down, especially in like a draft or something where you might really need this as a blocker or a finisher to just get you over on damage. Landscape Painter is a 2-drop 2/1 Merfolk Wizard. Interesting, could go in a Merfolk deck. It has this creature enters prepared, and its prepared spell is a sorcery. Verdant Idea is a 5-drop draw 2 cards. That's really, really expensive for the Verdant Idea, but the creature itself isn't the worst. I mean, as a 2-drop 2/1, you would prefer having a little bit more toughness on it, but honestly, it's not terrible. Like I said, you could probably slip this into a Merfolk deck if you want the added utility while also having creatures to hit the board for you. Heated Argument, 5-drop instant. Heated Argument deals 6 damage to target creature. You may exile a card from your graveyard. If you do, Heated Argument also deals 2 damage to that creature's controller. So a nice way of potentially removing a creature while still dealing damage to your opponent for you. Exiling something from your graveyard isn't bad, especially not if you're going to be playing an instant and sorcery focused red deck like a burn deck. So yeah, this actually could be usable. Still pretty expensive, especially in red, because you're trying to go fast, but I mean, it has its place in the late game if you're trying to still just get damage over. Textbook Tabulator is a 3-drop 0/3 frog wizard. Haven't seen any frogs in a bit, but Bloomburrow had plenty of those to go with this. Increment, when this creature enters, surveil 2. Not too bad. Definitely could fit in that kind of a frog deck. I think as a 3-drop, a 0/3 is underwhelming, so I don't know that I would recommend using it. We've got Barrage Barrage. It's a 2-drop instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. If you've cast another instant or sorcery spell this turn, then it deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. So this is a pump instant, kind of like a combat trick, that immediately becomes better when you use it, because it also lets it be a fight spell. Better than a fight spell, in fact, since it's just deal damage spell. That works really, really, really well with Death Touch, so could be usable. It's only a 2-drop, so this is actually pretty good. I would say in a Death Touch focused deck, this could actually be really strong. We've got Interjection, 1-drop instant in white. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains first strike until end of turn. Really good combat trick, especially for draft. I don't like playing combat tricks as much in standard as I do in drafts, but that is something to think about. Getting first strike makes a huge difference, actually, so I do like this one. Chase Inspiration, 1-drop instant. Target creature you control gets 0/3 and gains hexproof until end of turn. So we've got another hexproof generator in blue. That's really good, actually, especially if you're trying to do Simic colors for landfall decks, things like that. This could actually be really useful. Pursue the Past is a 2-drop in Boros. You gain 2 life. You may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Has a flashback cost. So kind of feeds into that earlier Boros card that we saw, the Wilt in the Heart. It lets you play something from your graveyard, so this has flashback. You could flash it back and then do this for 2 mana instead. That is still a 6 mana play. 4, 5, 6, yep. So pretty expensive, but they do work together if you want to go for something like that. And I think card draw and card draw effects plus life gain effects are really, really nice. So I don't hate this, actually. I think this could be a really usable card in a Boros Burn deck. We've got Inkling Mascot, is a Orzhov colored, 1 white and 1 black. It is an Inkling cat, so it could go in a cat deck potentially. We got the Repartee ability again, which is whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, this creature gains flying until end of turn and surveil 1. So far it's seeming like those Repartee abilities are pretty interesting. I don't know. Again, this could go really good in some sort of like a crime-focused deck. It does say specifically that targets a creature for this one, but you could still easily find that effect and get some use out of it. We've got Stone Docent. I'm not sure what that is. 2-drop 3/1, Spirit Chimera. 1-drop, exile this card from your graveyard, gain 2 life, surveil 1. Activate only as a sorcery. Not a really bad ability. I don't think a 3/1 is very good for 2 mana, but if you already have it in your graveyard, being able to pay 1 to just kind of gain some life, have your graveyard, have something leave your graveyard to possibly trigger an effect for you, could be viable. Got another Pest Mascot. We saw him before. Eager Glyph Mage, 4-drop in white, it's a 3/3 cat cleric. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. And then we've also got Banishing Betrayal again, which we did look at. Oracle's Restoration, 1-drop in green, sorcery. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. You draw a card and gain 1 life. For a 1-drop in green, this is actually really good. You get to draw a card, gain life, and put 1/1 on one of your creatures. It's really good, especially for if you're doing like a life gain grower deck. So if you just do it properly, this could be really good. The fact that it's a 1-drop makes it really good. What do we have next? Dig Site Inventor, 1-drop sorcery in white. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It gives vigilance until end of turn, and it has a 1-drop flashback. So very cheap, gives value, has a combat trick function to it, is only a sorcery, so you're not going to be using it on your opponent's turn. But giving vigilance to one of your creatures before attacking with it is ideal anyway. So, yeah, not bad, especially for a combat trick. I would use this in draft all day. I don't know if I would use it in standard, but there may be some good use for it. Tenured Concoctor is a 5-drop green, 4/5 Troll Druid. It has vigilance, and whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. In Fusion, this creature gets +2/+0 as long as you gained life this turn. So it could potentially be a 6/5 if you gained life on your turn, kind of leaning into that Golgari life gain stuff that we were seeing with the Pest Mascot and such. Interesting. I don't know that I would use it. Again, still probably very viable for draft. You end up having a lot of usable mana to do whatever you want with in draft, so you can definitely consider it. Sorry, my cat's being fussy with me. He's not feeling very good today, so you may end up hearing him. Let's see here. Potioner's Trove, 3-drop artifact, add 1 mana of any color. So not bad, pay 3 and you instantly get a tap for any color mana. And then you also have a tap ability, you gain 2 life, activate only if you cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. That isn't a pay-into ability, so I don't think this is that bad. It's a life gain mechanic for you that you can do perpetually as long as you played an instant or sorcery on a turn, meaning you can also do it on your opponent's turn since it is an instant activation available. Yeah, actually I think this is a pretty good card. Depending on what you're doing, this could be really useful in it, especially if you're just playing a deck that likes to use a lot of colors, because this will give you free mana of any color once you have it out on the field. Barog Banemaker is a 1-drop black frog warlock. It's a 1/1 with Death Touch. Pay 2 and this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Its ability is underwhelming, but a 1/1 4/1 with a Death Touch is actually really good. So I'm not going to say this is unusable. This could be a very, very good cheap creature to have on the field just for a blocker or attacker that your opponent's not going to want to block. If you're still playing into sneak abilities especially, that could be very helpful, just like with the Beaver. So, yeah, actually pretty good. Render Speechless, 4-drop in Orzhov colors, white-black, sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card, and then you put 2 1/1 counters on up to 1 target creature. So you're putting 2 1/1 counters on 1 target creature. Could be yours, could be your opponent's. That's why it says up to 1, because it doesn't want you to have to target your opponent's creature if you don't want to. So, actually, not terrible. It does let you look at your opponent's hand. It's a really expensive look at your opponent's hand card. I will say that. It does give you additional value other than that, but I don't see why you would want to use this over like a duress, or there's that black-white card that already exists that lets you look at your opponent's hand and exile a card. So yeah, I don't see this one replacing that by any means. Run Behind, 4-drop instant. The spell costs 1 less to cast. If it targets an attacking creature, the creature's owner puts it on their choice of the top or bottom of their library. So this is a really annoying card that I'm sure people are going to be using. It is only 1 less to play, so it would still be a 3 cost. But if you're playing other creatures that discount your things, which is very possible, you could play Gran, you could play that, what is it, Artist Talent. This could be even cheaper, so this could be really obnoxious just for stalling the game in blue in general. So, hate to see it. Personally, I hate to see it. But it'll probably get used. Shopkeeper's Bane, it's a 3-drop Badger Pest. It is a 4/2 for 3 with Trample. When this creature attacks, you gain 2 life. With 2 toughness, I imagine it would get blocked pretty easily. And 3 mana is kind of expensive for that, but like a 4/2 with Trample isn't the worst. And we've seen that a lot of abilities on this have like gain life on your turn in green and do something with it, so that could be helpful there too. Primary Research is a 5-drop enchantment. We're in the uncommons now. When this enchantment enters, return target non-land permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Really, really strong ability just because it says to the battlefield already. At the beginning of your end step, if a card left your graveyard this turn, draw an extra card. So it's a draw engine that also gets you a creature back from the graveyard to the battlefield. Actually, it says non-land permanent card. So I could already see, imagine with me for a moment, what if you're playing Boros tokens and you have a Windcrag Siege that your opponent blew up and it ended up in your graveyard? You could use this to bring it back. Also, there are 3-drop Planeswalkers, so you could have the Ajani, you could have, I think there are new ones that are 3-drops. Sorry, my cat's getting in my lap now. He's just not feeling good today. But anyway, you could have an Ajani, you could have a Windcrag Siege, you could have an Innkeeper's Talent, and this would allow you to bring any of those back from the graveyard to the battlefield and give you a draw engine, which is actually really good. So I don't think this is bad at all. This could be usable. Now, would you use it over cards that you already have in that? Probably not. Maybe as a sideboard card, this would be really good, though. We've got Deduce, draw a card, and Investigate. This is an already existing card, so this is a reprint. Really cool art here that I have for this. I don't know if that's specific to this set or what's going on there, but it looks awesome. Also, probably very usable. Drawing 1 and investigating aren't the worst thing in the world. You'd probably want to draw and scry or surveil for cheaper, but the fact that you have the option to do other things there is pretty nice. And it could be discounted, obviously, like I said, through other means. So we got Requisition Raid, which is also a reprint. Again, a fantastic art. I love this. Looks really, really good. And this is actually a really good usable card. You could use it sideboard if you are trying to go for something like life gain or, you know, like mono white life gain, stuff like that. Those are what I've used it in the past to allow you to have some removal for artifacts and enchantments. So it's actually a really fantastic sideboard card already. We have Rupturous Moment, is a 6-drop sorcery. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards and add 5 mana? Yeah, in a combination of 3 red and 2 blue. Interesting. Really good for a storm type of thing going on, and I know that's actually already very viable because there is a goblin that is like pay 5 mana, this thing's power goes up, you get that much mana back. Yeah, so this is going to be, you get as much mana as its power. This would be great in that deck, and it's just disgusting, and I hate it. I hate that his Zet is always so good. That's what I hate. It's always so good, it seems super, super favored, and it's just overpowered. There's cards that have to be banned in it regularly. It's just not fun. We've got Silver Quill Charm, Golgari colored instant, which looks interesting here. We've got Choose One, put 2/1/1 counters on target creature. Exile target creature with power 2 or less, or each opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. I think this is really good, actually. I think this has a spot to replace the 2-drop Exile creature card that I've been using in my Mardu deck and such. Because I have a Mardu Exile deck that I play pretty regularly, and there is a 2-drop just flat Exile target creature with power, or I think mana cost 3 or less. I could absolutely see swapping this in for that, just because it has a lot of versatility in place of that, so it's actually not bad. But anyway, so there's that. Zombify, I'm pretty sure this is also a reprint. 4-drop, yeah, so I've seen this. This is absolutely a reprint, but the art is fantastic. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, 4 mana in black. I might play it just because the art looks so fantastic. I haven't played Zombify in a while, especially with Caviero. He's better, but yeah, Zombify, really cool. I love some of these arts. I'm going to skip over here to this one because Return to Favor looks so good. 2-drop Spree instant. So we saw this probably in Outlaws of Thunder Junction. This is obviously a reprint with another fantastic art. Copy target instant spell, sorcery spell, activated ability, or triggered ability for paying 1 on top of the 2 red specific, or pay 1, and you may choose new targets for the copies. Let's see, change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. So interesting. Love that art though. I think these arts are actually some of the coolest that I've seen for just random cards in here. We've got Prismari Charm is 2-drop instant in exact colors. Surveil 2, then draw a card. Deal 1 damage to each of 1 or 2 targets. So you could target up to 2 different creatures with 1 damage. And then return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. I mean, I could absolutely see this going in as that. You could use this to put your Storm Chaser's talent back in your hand. You can use this to deal 1 damage to multiple targets. You can use it to surveil and draw, which is already really good for that deck because it just wants to cycle through cards for your monuments. So yeah, actually pretty good card. That'll probably see some play. We've got Chelonian Tackle. It's a 3-drop sorcery. Target creature you control gets +0/+10 until end of turn. Then it fights up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. That's crazy. I mean, it's good. You consider this like you put a big defense on one of your Death Touch creatures, something, make them fight, and then it's going to win easily and not die in the process. I think this is a really expensive fight spell. And you'd be better off just using that other like 2-drop card I saw earlier that deals damage. But interesting nonetheless. Daydream, I've heard of this one. It's a 1-drop white sorcery. Exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a 1/1 counter on it with a flashback of 3. So this goes into that like Blink deck I was talking about. I've seen it in Jeskai so far, so I know it's already pretty popular. Daydream's a really, really good card for it. It has flashback. It's a 1 cost to play it the first time. Really good enabler for any kind of a self-blink deck. Charging Strife Knight, 3-drop 3/3 Spirit Knight with haste, and you can tap it to draw a card, or discard and draw. So, not the worst. Probably usable for its mana cost, but expensive if you're already doing the draw discard thing, because there are just cheaper options or enchantments that you could already have on the board doing it for you. Harsh Annotation is a 2-drop instant. Destroy target creature. Its controller creates a 1/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. The Inkling, as you can see there, is just a 1/1 little bird-looking thing with flying. Not actually a bird, so it doesn't synergize with birds, but it looks like a bird. It looks very pretty. What else we got? Zimone's Experiment. 4-drop sorcery in green. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 creature and or land cards from among them. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Put all land cards revealed this way onto the battlefield tapped, and put all creature cards revealed this way into your hand. Not bad for the mana cost. I feel like it's a pseudo Smuggler Surprise, but a little bit cheaper. And it isn't putting the creatures on board for you, but it is giving you some really nice mana ramp, as well as potentially giving you creatures, which is really nice. So interesting there. Hop to it reprint. We've seen this create 3/1/1 white rabbit creature tokens. Really pretty art there, so I love that. Orisa Tide Choreographer is a 5-drop 2/2 Merfolk Bard. That's a lot. Legendary creature as well, so you can only have one on the battlefield at a time. This spell costs 3 less to cast if creatures you control have total toughness 10 or greater. When Orisa enters, draw 2 cards. I think this is really good. I know it's a bit expensive, but it gets cheaper if you have enough toughness out on board, which Merfolk populate really easily. And the draw 2 cards is just really a fantastic ability. This is only a 2/2, I understand, but you're getting it for 2 mana most likely, and it's going to give you that card draw, which is really good. Pick Your Poison reprint, again, another fantastic art. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact of their choice, each opponent sacrifices an enchantment of their choice, and each opponent sacrifices a creature with flying of their choice. Not a bad card, especially for 1 green mana. Definitely, like I said, this is a reprint, but the art looks fantastic, so maybe people will use it. Snarl Song is a 6-drop sorcery with Converge. Create 2/0/0 green and blue fractal creature tokens. Put X/1/1 counters on each of them, and you gain X life, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast this spell. That's a mouthful. This card's probably usable. There is a deck that was all about like multiple colors during the... what was it? The set right before Turtles. I'm forgetting what it was called. But Lorwyn Eclipsed, yeah, they had a whole multicolored deck thing going on, so maybe this would go in that and do something interesting. I don't know. I wouldn't use it personally, but somebody's going to make a deck with this in it, probably. Old Growth Educator, 4-drop in Golgari colors, Tree Folk Druid, 4/4 with Vigilance and Reach. So far it looks fantastic for a 4-drop. Vigilance, Reach, 4/4 for 4 mana, totally worth it. Infusion, when this creature enters, put 2 1/1 counters on it if you gained life this turn. So another one of those gained life abilities, but you could potentially have this enter as a 6/6 with Vigilance and Reach for 4 mana. I actually think this is really fantastic. If you put this in a Golgari deck that is gaining life, you will be happy about it. Spell Pierce, another reprint. Fantastic, fantastic art, though. I'm going to be using absolutely all of these arts because they're amazing. Let's see here. Quillblade Laureate? I don't know. 2-drop, 1/1 double strike creature that enters prepared, and it has a 2-fold instant, is what it says. Or 2-fold intent for 2 mana sorcery. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains double strike until end of turn. Not bad. It enters, has double strike, and gives double strike to somebody else if you pay for it. So that's not bad at all, actually. Reprint of Stargaze, which is not a very heavily used card, but look at twice X cards from the top of your library, put X cards from among them into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. You lose X life. Fantastic, fantastic art. Looks absolutely beautiful. Tablet of Discovery, 3-drop artifact. When this artifact enters, mill a card. You may play that card this turn. Don't love it already so far. You can tap it for red mana, and you can tap it for double red, but you can only spend this mana to cast instant and sorcery spells. There is a place for this, maybe even potentially in like an Azet deck or something like we've been seeing already, but, yeah, I don't know. It's not really good ramp for you, because if you're playing it on the turn that you get it out, it's not going to be very helpful. So, hard to say there. Sorry, again, you may still be hearing my cat. He's very fussy right now because he's not feeling well. Yeah, I don't like it, but we'll see. Someone might use it. Additive Evolution is a 5-drop in green enchantment. When this enchantment enters, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put 3 1/1 counters on it at the beginning of combat on your turn. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It gains vigilance until end of turn. That's at the beginning of combat, meaning it guarantees that that creature doesn't tap during combat, which is really nice. It grows any creature on your board, in fact, but it only grows it by 1, which isn't huge. You do get a good body from it. I think it's probably usable, but not necessarily the best card in the world. We've got a reprint of Monstrous Rage. I don't think anyone wanted a reprint of this, but it is a really nice looking reprint. It's very, very well done art. 1 drop, target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Create a monster roll token attached to it. The monster roll token gives it +1/+1 and trample. Not the worst thing that could have been reprinted. Like, as long as we're not seeing the thing that gives haste for 1 mana as much, that's fine too. But yeah, this is, we don't want this more. This is an instant, I guess I should say as well. Oh, it actually says there, this is the one that it says not legal in the following formats: standard, traditional, alchemy, traditional, standard. So yeah, really cool reprint. Don't know why they'd go to the trouble of reprinting something not legal in standard, because nobody liked seeing this. 1 drop +2/+0 and trample on a creature, +3/+1 on a creature plus trample was disgusting, and no one wanted this reprinted. It looks fantastic. I love the art. I hate this card. Fractal Anomaly, 1 drop instant, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token and put X/1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of cards you've drawn this turn. Interesting. If you're playing a deck that draws a lot, this is obviously useful, and it's not expensive, so you can absolutely make it work in your sort of storm decks that you would probably be doing. Another Quillblade, already saw him. Let's reveal our rares. Color Storm Stallion. Is that colored 3/3 elemental horse for 3 mana? It's got Ward 1 and Haste and Opus. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, create a token that's a copy of this creature. Okay, so yeah. I hate it. I hate seeing it. This is good. This is a good card. This is a good card. You could absolutely get value out of it. It has haste and ward, which is annoying. You can get multiple of them. It's a little bit more expensive, but this is very similar to just having Corey Steelcutter, really. Yeah, that is disgusting. Could be, again, really fantastic for Storm. There's really, really good stuff for Azette in this set. And I hate that, because there's always really, really good stuff for Azette in every set, and they need to stop. Someone and this is the Goblin I was saying was terrifying too. So yeah, someone at Wizards loves Azette and just wants to play it all the time. All the time. We got a rare land here. This land enters tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. Oh, fantastic. We're getting these kinds of lands again. I do hate, I will say, that there are more lands to waste wild cards on, because we need to just stop with that. But this is going to be a really good land, and I'm happy that I got one too, because I hope I get all of them without having to waste wild cards on them. But yeah, really interesting to see this type of multicolor land coming back again. I'm okay with that. Here's the Goblin I was talking about. Goblin Bard, 2-drop Molten Core Maestro, 2-drop with a 2/2 power and menace. It has Opus. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast the spell, add an amount of mana that is red only equal to this creature's power to your pool. So you can have infinite mana, play X spells ridiculously, and all you have to do is make sure you keep playing 5 mana spells over and over and over and over, and you're good. And it's disgusting. This thing is ridiculously, ridiculously good. And may get banned, because it's just as good, if not more busted, than Vivi was. Because it does what Vivi did. It produces infinite mana for free. So yeah, that's the exact reason why Vivi got it banned, basically. It allowed you to play forever and just win, and this does too. Deflecting Palm. We've got Boros Colors, instant. This looks to be a reprint based on the fact that it has the fancy art, but I'm not familiar with this card's original printing. So the next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage, and if damage is prevented this way, Deflecting Palm deals that much damage to that source's controller. Interesting. So you could get hit by something really hard, maybe something with trample or something that would kill you, and you redirect it back at them. I love that. That's actually really cool. Exhibition Tidecaller is a 1-drop 0/2 Djinn wizard with Opus. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, that target player mills 3 cards. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast the spell, that player mills 10 cards instead. This is evil. Oh my gosh, mill is going to be crazy with this. My lord. Yeah, this is nuts. I like it. I like mill. This is going to be something that people are going to target. You're going to get this on the board, and they're going to immediately be like, oh no, we got to get rid of that. I like this. I want more of these. I will put this in my mill decks. Arc of Hunger. 4-drop Boros color, so red-white. Artifact. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, this artifact deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you gain 1 life. And it has tap to mill a card. You may play that card this turn. This is actually really, really good. We've already seen that white and red is kind of playing into the return things from your graveyard to your hand or to the battlefield with this one. And this is just going to give you some ping on top of that, which is going to be fantastic. And you get to mill cards, so feeding that, and if you don't, then you can just play it this turn. Yeah, this is really, really good. I don't know how you'll live long enough to play it, but it's a really good card. Another Stallion. I don't want these Stallions. Can I trade these for other wild cards? I don't want them. Anyway, Resonating Loot, 4-drop in Izzet colors. Artifact. Lands you control have tap, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast instant and sorcery spells, and you can tap it to draw a card. Activate only if you have 7 or more cards in your hand. This is disgusting. Stop making cards that are just like, oh yeah, you want mana? Here's double your mana. This is just Badger Mole for Izzet, and Izzet doesn't need it. They've got all these Opus cards so that they can pay 5 mana for crap, and you're giving them more mana. Why? Oh my lord. Sorry. Izzet's popular. I don't play it because I don't like playing the meta deck. Like the meta deck that everyone is always playing. But, oh my lord, I hate seeing this stuff that's just going to make it even more obnoxious. So I will say, now that we're getting down here to some black cards, I have really liked a lot of the black cards that I've seen for this set. I am super excited, not just for the one that I'm cursored over right now, but to be playing black in this set. So I want to preface that after my meltdown on Izzet. Like, the black cards look awesome, and I'm super excited. I think I'm going to spend a lot of my wild cards getting Planeswalkers. But, oh my lord, Izzet, please go away. Put that in a different format than Standard all by itself. Tragedy Feaster. 4-drop 7/6 Demon. Already so good. Trample. And it's got Ward, discard a card. So if someone wants to target it to kill it, they've got to discard something. And it's a 7/6 with Trample for 4 mana. So good. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice a permanent unless you gained life this turn. If you have this out with Unholy Annex, oh lord, this is so good. Yeah, I want these. I want a lot of these. I'm going to be playing demons. I love demons. Yeah, really good card for black. Emeritus of Woe, 4-drop 5/4 Vampire Warlock. Also, vampire is very dear to my heart. I love vampires. I love that I have this, if nothing else, because I would throw it into a brawl deck just because it's a vampire. Anyway, back to actually looking at the card. It is a 4-drop 5/4 vampire, already good. This creature enters prepared, so you can do its demonic tutor. At the beginning of your end step, if 2 or more creatures died this turn, this creature becomes prepared, so you can do it more later? I don't know how that works. Does that just mean you have the opportunity to be prepared more often to do the tutor more? I don't know. Demonic Tutor, obviously, search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle. Getting that for 2 mana just for having this on the field is crazy. This is a really cool card. I could see it being used in Standard. Like I said, I will throw it in a Brawl deck just because I have one. Really enjoy it, in fact. Looks like we've got another one. This one here is a Emeritus of Truce, 3-drop, which is so cheap. 3-drop, 3/3 Cat Cleric, and its thing is a 1-drop. Ooh, this is going to be a good card. When this creature enters, target player creates a 1/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. Then if an opponent controls more creatures than you, this creature becomes prepared. So it's not automatically prepared. For 1 white mana, exile target creature, its controller gains life equal to its power. So that lets you just remove any creature your opponent's got if your opponent has more creatures than you when you get this out on the field. Oh, Lord. And this is instant speed, so you could potentially, and I could be wrong here, but I think you could play this, have the Inkling token spawning on the stack, do the exile effect, then the Inkling resolves. I might be wrong, but I think you could probably do that since it's instant speed for the Swords to Plowshares. So, which, can I just say, Swords to Plowshares and Demonic Tutor, these are cards that already exist, and you're adding them as parts of creatures now. Very interesting. Those are very powerful cards. Anyway, let's check out more cards. These are fantastic. This set has some really good looking cards so far. Even for things that aren't Azette, but Azette is just absolutely rolling in all the good stuff. But anyway, let's check out the next cards. I'm actually pretty excited. This has been fun so far with this set. Alright, so some more new stuff here. We got Mindful Biomancer, 2-drop Dryad Druid, 2/2 creature, in green. When this creature enters, you gain 1 life, so very good for the Golgari or even mono green that we've been seeing with life gain. 3-drop ability, this creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and you can only activate it once each turn. Can potentially, though, become a 4/4, it's a 2-mana creature that could become a 4-mana or a 4/4 on turn 3 if you don't have anything else to do. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Especially for draft. Very usable. Elite Interceptor, 1-drop, 1/2, which is pretty decent already. This creature enters prepared. You can pay 2 for Rejoiner. You may tap or untap target creature and draw a card. Card draw is pretty good, and for a 1-drop, just 1/2 body is actually pretty good. A decent blocker to get out on turn 1. So I don't hate this, actually. Last Gasp, 2-drop instant. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. This is not going to be good as long as there are other cards that have the exact same effect. But if we ever, like, and I understand, like, Virtue of Persistence, does the same thing but is sorcery speed. Same mana value. This would be better than that, except that Virtue has such a substantial second side to it, so the sorcery speed doesn't really matter. And people don't even use that removal anymore because it's just not good enough, usually. So I don't know that this is going to see a lot of play. Fantastic for draft, I will say that too right away. Really, really good draft removal. Ascendant Dust Speaker, 5-drop, 3/4 Orc Cleric. I'm playing a Orc Bard on Baldur's Gate right now. Not on my one that I'm doing for the channel, but for my own personal play. When this creature enters, put a 1/1 counter on another target creature you control at the beginning of combat on your turn. Exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. So it's graveyard hate, along with being a creature that flies, that buffs your creatures when it enters. I still think it's a little bit too expensive, but a really good draft card for sure. Hungry Graphalon is a 4-drop 3/4 with Reach and Increment. Whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana you spent is greater than this creature's power and toughness, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. So that's what Increment does. That's interesting. It's 4-drop. If you play an instant or sorcery that is above 3 mana, it'll get bigger. Essentially, at least the first time. So, I don't know. Could be usable, actually. We've got Olna Alley Shopkeeper, 3-drop in black, 2/3 Goblin Warlock. I do love me some goblins. And I have Rakdos Goblins, so maybe we can put this in. It's got Menace, which is pretty good. 3-drop, 2/3 with Menace. Sounds good, but I don't know if it actually would be for goblins, because 3-drops are really investments in that deck. Infusion, this creature gets +2/+0 as long as you gained life this turn. Very doable, because we do have that 3-drop goblin Like whenever a goblin dies, you gain 1 life and your opponent loses 1 life. Again, I feel like the problem with this card is that it's a 3 mana card. If it was 2 mana, all day I'd be using it. But at 3 mana, I don't know. Ancestral Anger, 1-drop sorcery, target creature gains trample and gets +X/+0 until the end of turn, where X is 1 plus the number of cards named Ancestral Anger in your graveyard, and you draw a card. This card's really good. It's going to be played in mono red, it's going to be played in Boros. It may even be played in Izet, because think for a moment, if you put this on an Innkeeper's Talent, what's it called? The Otters. Put this on the Otter, grow the Otter, it has trample, get more of this in your graveyard, draw cards. This thing is going to be disgusting and really, really useful in any red deck, probably. So, yeah, love to see that. More red. Did I already look at this? I guess I did. This card just looks cool. Drew my attention back to it right away. Let's see. Rehearsed Debater is a 3-drop 3/3 Jin Bard. It has Vigilance and Repartee. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I hate that it's until end of turn. That really does affect it, but a 3-drop 3/3 with Vigilance still isn't the worst thing in the world, so... Follow the Lumerets. 2-drop sorcery in green, Infusion. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them and put it into your hand. If you gained life this turn, you may instead reveal 2 creature or land cards from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of any order. I think this is good, actually. I think this is really good in that kind of life gain mono green or life gain Golgari, where you just want to get creatures or land, put them into your hand. For 2 mana, that's not bad at all. So yeah, this is pretty good. It would be so nice to get it on the battlefield, but for as cheap as it is, to be able to choose draws and get 2 cards, this is like having, what's the blue card? The blue one with the kicker for 2 mana to go for however much land you have. This is like that for green. Procrastinate, 1 blue and X, sorcery, tap target creature, put twice X stun counters on it. Oh, that's gross. So even if you just pay 1, you're getting 2 stun counters on a creature that you get to tap. It is sorcery speed. That makes a huge difference, actually, for this card. But still, this is really good. You can stun something for a very long time if you have the mana to do so. Like, you do this and still keep up counter spells and stuff. That's evil. Expressive Fire Dancer. 2-drop human sorcerer, 2/2 with Opus. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast the spell, this creature also gains double strike until end of turn, which is crazy. This is a really good 2-drop. Yeah, 2-drop, 2/2 that has prowess, even if it's only until end of turn. Yeah, so it has prowess, basically. And if the thing that you paid was 5 or more mana, it also just gains double strike. That's so good. So good. And this is just a common. Put this in your draft decks, guys. Strife Scholar, 3-drop, 3/2 Orc Sorcerer. Ward, pay 2 life, this creature enters prepared. The prepared side, or the sorcery spell is Awaken the Ages, 6-drop, create 2/2 red and white spirit creature tokens. Not fantastic, because it is 6 mana. You're definitely not doing that the turn you play this guy, but if it doesn't die, maybe that's useful upside. Maybe. Owlin Historian, 3-drop, 2/3 bird cleric, with flying, obviously. When this creature enters, surveil 1. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Very interesting. Could go in a bird deck or just a flying deck in general that's using Momo. So, something to keep in mind there. Saw Chase Inspirations. Fractal Mascot is a 6-drop. Yeah. 6/6 Fractal Elk with Trample. When this creature enters, tap target creature and opponent controls. Put a stun counter on it. I don't love it. Mana cost is just too high. We saw a fucking 4-drop 7/5 just a second ago. This thing's not good enough. Seeing the reprint of Seize the Spoils again. I'm sad it didn't get a fancy art. I mean, it got a cool art, but it's not fancy like the other ones we were just seeing. Spirit Mascot. 2-drop 2/2 Spirit Ox. Promising so far. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. It doesn't say until end of turn, so this is going to perpetually keep getting bigger and bigger. I actually think it's totally worth it. So this is a good creature that you could potentially run in Boros right now, and it'll just grow for you as long as you're playing graveyard stuff. I already said Jeskai. Jeskai is a really good thing to potentially do with this. Spellbook Seeker is a 4-drop bird wizard with flying that enters prepared. It is a 3/3, and for careful study, its prepared spell is a sorcery. Just draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Really good, actually. You are paying potentially 5 mana if you're doing this all in one turn, but I think that's pretty decent, actually. Hard to say. Hard to say if this will get played a lot. Could be in a bird deck, obviously, but I don't know. Mage Tower Referee, 2-drop 2/1 artifact creature construct. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. So it gets bigger as long as you're playing multicolored spells. This could fit into a lot of different decks. I love that it says just put a 1/1 counter on this creature and it doesn't say until end of turn. That makes it so much more interesting and more viable. So actually not a bad comment in my opinion. Because there's going to be a lot of multicolored cards you could play, and if you set up your deck for that in mind, this is really good for it. It doesn't yield well to, like, specifically artifacts, because most of those are colorless, but still very interesting. Already saw that, saw the mascot, saw that. Was Glorious Decay. 2-drop instant with choose 1, destroy target artifact. Deal 4 damage to target creature with flying, or exile target card from a graveyard, draw a card. You know what? We see a lot of these, kind of like pick your poison, stuff like that kind of cards. I think this is going to be usable. I think it's a very good sideboard card if you're playing green or even potentially Golgari. The fact that you can hinder graveyards or destroy artifacts means this is actually very viable to use. So, not bad at all. Great sideboard card. Imperious Ink Mage, 3-drop in Orzhov colors. I do like Orzhov colors. We got an Orc Warlock here. Very interesting. 3/3 with Vigilance for 3 mana, and when it enters, you surveil 2. That's not bad. Could be better, but not bad at all. If you're doing some kind of a Warlock thing, like a criminal, what are they called? Mercenaries. Or if you are, I don't know. I don't know a lot of different archetypes where you'd put this in, but this isn't bad. Not a terrible card. They got a reprint for Bitter Triumph. Oh man, look at that art. This looks so good. Yeah, as an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card, or pay 3 life, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Very popular card. Most people know it. I love the reprint. It looks so good. Same thing here. Burst Lightning. This is the card I was talking about earlier. The art, fantastic. Kicker 4 can do 4 damage. Otherwise it does 2 damage. Yeah, really annoying card. Love the art though. This is really, really good. Stand Up for Yourself, 3-drop instant, destroy target creature with power 3 or greater. Actually pretty useful. 3 drops a little expensive for it, but I could see this being used for sure. Essence Knit Scholar is a 3-drop in Golgari. You've got 1 black, 1 green, and then 1 hybrid, meaning you could do one or the other. It is a Dryad Warlock, a 3/1 creature. It's not legendary, that's worth noting. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. With whenever this token attacks, you gain 1 life. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, draw a card. I actually think this is pretty good. It's only a 3-drop. It's a 3-drop 3/1, but you're not going to be wanting to attack with it. It creates a pest creature for you that can attack to gain you life, which can trigger a lot of your abilities that we've been seeing. So yeah, really, really good. We got a really, really good art stock up here. Yeah, that's really nice too. I love this. I love these extra arts. You know, I should be mad that I'm getting all these like reprints with these fancy arts instead of getting like new cards. And sure, that is annoying, but man, these look good. These look so good. So it has me excited for them, even though they're the things I already have. Blazing Firesinger is a 3-drop 2/3 dwarf bard, which I have played, in fact. I've played that in D&D. My first ever campaign, I was a dwarf bard, just because it was fun. This creature enters prepared. Seething Song is its instant speed prepared ability. 3 mana, add, what was that, 5? 5 red mana specifically? Interesting. Could be used in mono red to ramp out like a bunch of fire spells or something. Could be really interesting. Thorn Fist Striker, 3-drop Elf Druid, 3/3, Ward 1, Infusion. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample as long as you gain life this turn. This could be a really good win mechanic. You get this out, and you're getting just a little +1/+0 to your things, but you get trample as long as you gain life. Oh, that could be so, so good. Now, I think what sucks is you probably have to have gained the life before this enters. I don't know that for sure, though, because I don't know entirely how Infusion works. If it allows you to gain that 1 life to trigger this during your combat step when you attack with your pests and stuff, this is even better. But I don't know. I don't know how that interaction works until I see it done. Very interesting, though. Proctor's Gaze, 4-drop in Simic colors, so 1 blue, 1 green. Instant. Return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. This is a really good card. The fact that it's 4 mana hardly matters because Simic can actually really, really quickly ramp. And it buys you time while ramping you more. So this is actually a really, really good card. Impractical Joke, 1-drop red sorcery. Damage can't be prevented this turn. Impractical Joke deals 3 damage to 1 target creature or planeswalker. There are new planeswalkers in this set. This is only a 1-drop, and it says damage can't be prevented, so people can't use like a fog bank or anything like that. Interesting. I don't know how relevant that'll be, but it is interesting. Could be a sideboard card that people would want to use. Root Project, 2-drop sorcery, create a 2/2 red and white spirit creature token. Flashback, tap 3 untapped creatures you control. Oh, that's actually crazy good, because a flashback that doesn't require mana is so much easier to do, and they can have summoning sickness. They don't have to tap on their own accord. You are force tapping them with the effect of this, kind of like when you waterbend and stuff. Yeah, okay. This is cool. I like this card. Duty Beyond Death. I know this is a reprint. I recognize that name. Really cool art. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn, and put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So very interesting. Sorry, give me just a second. I got cat issues. Poor little guy is just feeling so rough today. Got another reprint here. Shared Roots. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. This is a lesson card, so it came out just with the Avatar set very recently, but look at that art. Really, really fantastic. Social Snub, 3-drop in Orzhov colors, black-white. Sorcery, when you cast a spell, while you control a creature, you may copy this spell. Each player sacrifices a creature of their choice. Each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. So really interesting way of potentially using it as removal, even if all you've got are like little like token creatures, as well as getting you some gain and drain, which is really fantastic. We already saw a group project. We've got Quindrix's Charm, Simic colors, 1 blue, 1 green. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2, so that's already pretty useful just by itself. Destroy target enchantment, also very, very useful. And target creature has base power and toughness, 5/5 until end of turn. I think this is going to be a very, very usable card. If you're playing Simic, any case where you would be running like the 2-drop, pay 2 or counter, is going to be replaced by this, because it also has the ability of getting rid of enchantments and pumping creatures if necessary. So actually really good. I could see this going in plenty of decks and being very usable. Snooping Page, 3-drop in Orzhov colors, Human Cleric, 2/3, Repartee. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell that targets a creature, this creature can't block this turn. Whenever this creature deals combat damage, or can't be blocked, I'm sorry. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Possibly usable. Definitely usable in draft, but possibly usable otherwise. I think it's a little expensive for use in standard, but maybe. Got a reprint on a bulk up here, 2-drop instant, double target creature's power until end of turn with a flashback for 6. But that art is just fantastic. Look at that. Got Flow State here. I think I've heard of this card already from the pre-release. 2-drop sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. If there is an instant card, a sorcery card, and a sorcery card in your graveyard, instead put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This is really, really, really good, actually. Really good. Yeah, no, I like that a lot. That's going to be very usable. Maybe even more so than that kicker card, depending on how your deck works. We've got Forum Necroscribe. It's a 6-drop 5/4 Troll Warlock. Crazy. Ward is discard a card. Repartee, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That explains why this is such an expensive creature, but it is a reanimator just from basically committing a crime, targeting a creature with a kill spell or something like that. You get a free creature back from the graveyard to the battlefield. Interesting. I would be surprised to see people play around this for standard, but you know what? Maybe not. Like, this actually is really, really good in Reanimator decks, even with Caviero, because you can have your Caviero become a 4/4 version of this with Ward, discard a card, and anytime you play an instant or sorcery that targets a creature, yeah. So this could very easily go in just a Dimir Caviero deck or something like that. This is actually pretty interesting. I could see this being used even though it's not a rare. We have made it to the rares of this 10 pack, so let's see what we've got. Interesting, interesting. I know I see a Planeswalker down here already, but let's start on this side. We've got Fracture, which I guess is a reprint. I'm not familiar with this one. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or Planeswalker. Stop. There's no additional text, and it's just 1 white and 1 black. That's actually really, really good. Just to start off, that's really fantastic. Yeah, so that's cool. If this is standard legal, definitely use it. That thing's crazy. Especially in Orzhov. Like, if you're playing Orzhov, this is the card to use for removal. Fix What's Broken. I've seen this one used in the pre-release. 4-drop Orzhov colors. As an additional cost to cast the spell, pay X life. Return each artifact and creature card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield. So if you're playing graveyard stuff, you do have to pay life for this, but you get to do it for 4 mana without any additional life investment. That's actually really, really good. Yeah, interesting. Traumatic Critique. I've seen this card being used and is that during the pre-release also, so we've got that. Do want to mention just right here real quick, got another one of these lands. That's pretty good. Traumatic Critique deals X damage to any target, player or creature. I've seen it used as a kill spell with the goblin that I showed earlier. Then discard a card at the end of that after you... so deals any damage to any target, draw 2 cards, then discard a card, and it is an X cost damage that it deals, so that is really disgusting with the new goblin that I mentioned. Maelstrom Artisan is a 3-drop Minotaur Sorcerer. It is a 3/2 with haste, and it enters prepared. And Rocket Volley is its sorcery side. Destroy target non-basic land. So you get to destroy non-basic lands, specifically. A lot of people use non-basic lands, but this is going to be less useful against like a mono black deck or something. So could be a really good sideboard card, actually. We got Pyretic Ritual, which is gross. 2 mana to get 3 mana. So really good for those storm type decks. Really good to pair with the things that you're creating mana for however much mana how much mana it has as that stupid goblin. I know this isn't a 5-drop, so it won't trigger the like mana feed ability, but that's what it is. It is giving you mana. So yeah, really disgusting. Let's see what else we got here. I haven't seen this one yet. The Dawning Archaic? Not sure. 10-drop 7/7 Avatar. Okay. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard. Interesting. That's crazy. It has reach, and whenever it attacks, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. So when it attacks, you can cast target instant or sorcery spell. So this basically turns that sorcery into an instant. Very interesting. This card's actually pretty crazy. I think it would be somewhat hard to get out, but again, not. Because you could play those stupid elementals in the Azet deck that's not as popular. But, you know, the elementals deck where you have all of your things getting discounted because you have Tolarian Terror and the Eddie Merc Crab all getting discounted from instants and sorceries and stuff. You could put that in there, or this in that really easily. And it's good fit in it, too, because it's strong. Yeah, crazy. We did get another Emeritus of Woe, so another vampire dude, like that. Aziza, Mage Tower Captain, 2-drop in Boros colors, legendary creature, Djinn Sorcerer, so you only have one out at a time. It is a 2/2, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may tap 3 untapped creatures you control. If you do, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Then we got a Planeswalker over here, which I am excited for. I am really excited to get the Planeswalkers from this set. This one is a 4-drop, which is still cheap. Still very cheap for a Planeswalker. It has a +2 ability, you gain 3 life, which is so good. So good already. It gives 2 to the Planeswalker and heals you, making you last longer. It's got a 0, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Not a big deal, and very nice to have that card draw sometimes. -3, destroy a creature. No deal damage, no having stipulations on what kind of creature, just flat out destroys the creature. Really fantastic. Really, really fantastic. Especially since you can do that without plussing this card ever. And then, -6, you get an emblem with whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Oh man, this is really good and leans very heavily into those Golgari cards I was talking about. I can see so much synergy here with that. It's really fantastic looking. I cannot wait to get more of these Planeswalkers. I'm going to be using wild cards on Planeswalkers early. I know that already. Alright, we got another 10 to go through. Alright, Hydro Channeler, 2-drop blue Merfolk Wizard. It is a 1/3. Tap to add blue mana, spend this mana only to cast instant or sorcery spells. And then pay 1 and tap, add mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast instant sorcery spells. Not bad, overall. A little mana ramp for the instant and sorcery spell deck, so very usable actually. Got Quick Study here. It didn't say new above it, but I've seen this one before. Interesting to see it reprinted. We've got Tackle Artist, 4-drop Orc Sorcerer, 4/3 with Trample. Opus, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast the spell, put 2 1/1 counters on it instead. It does not say until end of turn anywhere on that, so this is actually pretty good. Even as a common. Like, I would totally use this in draft for sure. Most of these Opus cards are going to be very usable in draft. Red is going to be strong. Red is going to be very, very strong. Shattered Acolyte, 2-drop Dwarf Warlock, 2/2 in white colors, has lifelink, and sacrifice this creature, destroy target artifact or enchantment. This is pretty good. Also, potentially a good sideboard card, just for if you know you're going up against artifacts or enchantments. But the fact that it is a 2/2 with lifelink and a good ability on top of that, this is very usable, actually. We've got Terrafractal instead of Pterodactyl. It's a 2 and X Simic color, 1/0 dinosaur fractal creature with flying. This creature enters with X 1/1 counters on it, and X is the mana cost that you pay. And when this creature enters, you gain 2 life. That's not bad. This is actually a really interesting card, too, especially for a common. I do think you could play into it very nicely. X cards have that ability over a lot of others. We've got Elemental Mascot. It is a 3-drop in Izet colors. Elemental Bird, 1/4 for 3 mana. Flying and Vigilance and Opus. So it does the additional, 1/0 until end of turn, and if 5 or more mana was spent to cast this spell, exile the top card of your library. You may put that card, or you may play that card until end of turn. Essence Scatter, obviously a reprint. Really, again, just really cool looking art. Not as fancy as some of the others, but just very pretty. Counter target creature spell specifically for 2 mana. Terramorphic Expanse getting a reprint here too, it looks like. Noxious Newt. 2-drop, 1/2 with Death Touch. I love it. And it can tap for mana. Yeah, I love this thing. This thing's fantastic. Is it the best in the world? No, maybe not. But I think it's really good. I like the Death Touch. I like that it's just a 2-drop. If it was a 1-drop, it'd be a rare, I bet. And it's a mana dork, which are really good. Obviously, Badger Mole makes mana dorks broken. So, yeah, I actually really like this Newt. Visionary's Dance is a 7-drop, very expensive sorcery. Create 2 3/3 red and blue flying bird creature or red elemental creature tokens, I'm sorry. With flying. Pay 2, discard this card, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. So it does have a discard outlet available to it, like a cycle ability essentially as well. So I could see this being used in that, even if you don't end up using it for the high mana value later. We've got Deluge Virtuoso is a 3-drop human wizard, 2/2. When this creature enters, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. Opius, whenever you're an instant or sorcery spell, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast the spell, this creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn instead. What is it, buddy? Let's see here. Page Looseleaf. 2-drop 0/2. Legendary artifact creature construct. Tap for mana. So already pretty good there. It is a creature, so it's a little bit more removable. But yeah, being able to tap this creature for mana, and it's only a 2-drop, means that you could potentially ramp really nicely. And then Grandeur. Discard another card named Page Looseleaf. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an instant or sorcery card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any random order. This is pretty good, especially since this is legendary. If you already have one out on the field, you can't have an additional one, so you use its ability to discard your additional ones while searching for other useful cards. So that's really not bad at all, especially for a common. Efflorescence is a 3-drop instant. Put 2/1/1 counters on target creature. Infusion, if you gained life this turn, that creature also gains trample and indestructible until end of turn. So very interesting. The trample and indestructible are very, very useful. And then you get the 1/1 counter regardless, 2 of them. So could be usable. Absolutely. Definitely for a draft. We got Simic-colored 5-drop Embrace the Paradox instant. Draw 3 cards. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Pretty expensive for a mana ramp card. It does let you just draw cards without discarding them, though, so I mean, that's pretty good. I don't know. If you've got the mana to do it and you're playing like multicolored spell stuff and things, I could see it being usable. Send in the Pests. 2-drop black sorcery. Each opponent discards a card. You create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with whenever this token attacks, you gain life. Gain 1 life. Not bad. These pests have a lot of like gain life when they attack or enter type effects. And making your opponent discard for 2 mana too is not bad. It's only 1 card. You don't get to pick it. That does suck. But for 2 mana, making them discard and then getting a creature that gains you life, I don't hate it. Masterful Flourish. 1-drop black instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Pretty good combat trick. 1-drop means that it's very efficient, very easy to use, and it's instant speed, so you can use it when your opponent's turn. So yeah, not bad. Do keep in mind, minus effects do not... This doesn't save from like -3/-3 and your creature dies. So keep that in mind. Another Shattered Acolyte. I know we've seen that Archaic's Agony. It's a 5-drop sorcery. Converge. Archaic's Agony deals X damage to target creature, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast this spell. Exile cards from the top of your library equal to the excess damage dealt to that creature this way. You may play those cards until end of your next turn. That's a lot. If we still had Screaming Nemesis in Standard, this would be totally busted, because you could hit your own creature, redirect the damage to your opponent, make sure they can't gain life, and then get all of these effects. So, I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind when I see this card. I don't know what you would do with it in Standard other than that. That's kind of the best play I could think of with it, but we don't have Screaming Nemesis in Standard anymore. Got Sonar Unfinished Genius. He is somehow unfinished. 2-drop red-blue, so is that colors, 0/4. 2-drop 0/4 is already strong, let me just say that. It enters prepared, and you can tap it to create a treasure token. Activate only if you've cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. So you can only do it if you've cast an instant or sorcery spell. Should be very easy to do in an Azet deck. And it enters prepared, so it has Wild Ideas. The prepared sorcery is a 5-drop. Search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Not the most amazing prepared spell, but it does lend very well to the Opus cards, because it is a 5-drop, and if you've done an instant or sorcery spell, this can create treasures for you, ramping you up to that mana if needed. 2 Beyond Death reprint again, Requisition Raid reprint again. We've got Abstract Paint Mage, 3-drop in Azet colors, so 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 hybrid. Is a Djinn Sorcerer 2/2. At the beginning of your first main phase, add red and blue. Spend this mana only to cast instant sorcery spells. I think this is a really good card. It actually gets you ramp, but it is a 3-drop, which knocks it back just a bit, but honestly still very usable. It ramps for you, even on the turn that you get it, because, well, no, okay, because you play it on your first main or second main, so not on the turn you get it, but anytime after that it's going to trigger. That's crazy. What else we got? Diary of Dreams, 2-drop artifact book. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a page counter on this artifact. Pay 5, tap, draw a card. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each page counter on this page, or on this artifact. Very usable, very good. A really good way of just drawing cards for potentially nothing, because since that doesn't have a color specific required, you could have 5 instants or sorceries, or I'm sorry, 5 page counters from instants and sorceries on this thing to just draw for free once per turn. Or once on your opponent's turn, too, because it's instant speed. So, yeah, could be very, very good, actually. Stock up reprint again. Repel Calamity. This looks like it's a reprint, too. It's very good. Did this come out in Bloomburrow? Destroy target creature with power or toughness 4 or greater. It's pretty good, especially for a 2-drop. Because it says power or toughness, so you're not locked into one specifically. Not bad. We've got Scathing Shadelock as a 5-drop 4/6 Snake Warlock. Pretty interesting. At the beginning of your first main phase, this creature becomes prepared, and its prepared sorcery is Venomous Words. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. Not the worst, and it is only a 1-drop for the Venomous Words. I don't know if you would end up playing this. I mean, it's an uncommon. It's a 5-drop 4/6. You could maybe do, if I'm understanding the prepared mechanic correctly, then you could do this every first main phase, because it becomes prepared at every first main phase. I don't know. I don't know if that means you can only do it once or if you can do it each time it becomes prepared. So hard to say. Tester of the Tangential. Djinn Wizard, 1/1 for 2 mana. Increment at the beginning of your combat on your turn, you may pay X. When you do, move X 1/1 counters from this creature onto another target creature. Interesting. I don't know the exact use of this, but I'm sure there is one. I just don't off the top of my head know why you would, or know what you would be doing that would put a lot of counters on this that you would need to move to something else. I just don't get that. But I'm sure there's a use, I just don't know it. Fractal Tender, 5-drop Simic Color 3/3 Elf Wizard. It's got Ward 2 and Increment at the beginning of each end step. If you put a counter on this creature this turn, create a 0/1 green and blue fractal creature token and put 3 1/1 counters on it. So if you have something that puts 1/1 counters on this creature, you can generate other creatures. Pretty expensive. Don't know how used this one would be. The Ward 2 is not bad, though. And if you have ways to put counters on it, and I'm sure there are some, then you could maybe definitely do some interesting stuff with it. We got Growth Curve, Simic Color, 2-drop sorcery. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, then double the number of 1/1 counters on that creature. So we're seeing this is a card that would work with this, and it would work with this. So, very good. Dissection Practice, 1-drop instant. Target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Up to 1 target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and up to 1 target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. It does not say choose, so I assume all of these things happen when you do this, and it is a 1-drop instant, which is pretty good. That's a lot of value for 1 card. It's a combat trick as well as gain and drain, so not bad at all. Root Manipulation, 5-drop sorcery. Until end of turn, creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain menace. Whenever this creature attacks you, gain 1 life. Yeah, that's really, really good. A 5-drop basically make all of your creatures deadly, and you gain a bunch of life on top of it if you've got multiple creatures. So I actually think this is fantastic. That's very good, very usable. Alright, time to get to the rares of this pack. Angel's Grace. 1-drop instant, split second. You can't lose the game this turn, and your opponent can't win the game this turn. Until end of turn, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. This is a crazy card. I don't know if this means that this is playable in Standard or even with any of the other reprints either. Like, if they're not already playable in Standard, this might not be putting them in. I get that. But this card's really good, and the art looks fantastic. So, reprint's cool. If this isn't playable in Standard, I'm really unhappy to be getting all of these. I will say that. Suspend Aggression. 3-drop rare instant in Boros colors. Exile target non-land permanent and the top card of your library. For each of those cards, its owner may play it until the end of their next turn. Exile target non-land permanent and the top card of your library. For each of those cards, its owner may play it until the end of their next turn. So if you exile a target permanent and it belongs to your opponent, that doesn't mean that you get to play it. Interesting. There's a lot of uses for this. Potentially recasting one of your things, getting something from the top of your library, kind of like a pseudo draw effect. Or just removing something from your opponent's side temporarily that could allow you to win. So a lot there. We've got Flashback, 1-drop instant. Target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to the mana cost. So that could be interesting. Chronographed Sparks, 2-drop instant. The spell can't be copied. Interesting. Choose one or both. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy, or copy target creature spell you control. The copy gains haste, and at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice this token. Interesting. There's definitely a lot you could do with that. It's interesting that it says that it can't be copied. I get that, because then you're just copying things infinitely, but very interesting. Together as One, 6-drop colorless sorcery. Converge, target player draws X cards, together as one deals X damage to any target, and you gain X life, where X is the number of colors spent to cast this spell. And it's a 6-cost spell to begin with. So that one's an interesting one. I don't know that I would be using it, but it is probably pretty viable. Harmonized Trio, 1-drop 1/1, already pretty good. Merfolk Bard Wizard. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control. This creature becomes prepared. And it's a tap ability, so you can't do it with Summoning Sickness. And then its prepared ability is Brainstorm. 1-drop instant. Draw 3 cards, then Put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. It's very cheap, so I'm sure that's very playable. It and its Brainstorm are both very cheap. We got Vastland Scavenger, 3-drop, 4/4 Druid Bear with Death Touch, and it enters prepared. Its prepared instant is Bind to Life, 5-drop, mill 7 cards, then put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Interesting. 3-drop 4/4 on its own is good. It's a 3-drop 4/4 with Death Touch, so that's already really, really good. And then you have a pseudo Scavenger talent. I don't remember. I can't remember. But Smuggler's Surprise. There you go. Pseudo Smuggler's Surprise. It is only 1 creature, but still very, very good card. Slumbering Trudge. 1 green and X. It is a plant beast creature with 6/6 power and toughness. This creature enters with a number of stun counters on it equal to 3 minus X. If X is 2 or less, it enters tapped. That's complicated. But so I guess if you pay enough, it just enters tapped instead of with stun counters on it. You're essentially paying to have this extremely overpowered creature not be stunned or tapped. So gotcha. Very powerful. Very overpowered, in fact. Because this is essentially a 1-drop 6/6 that even if you can't pay into it, you can get it going on turn 1. So that's silly. I do want to say that. Germination Practicum. 5-drop sorcery lesson. Put 2 1/1 counters on each creature you control and Paradigm. Paradigm is exile this spell as it resolves. After you first resolve a spell with this name, you may cast a copy of it from exile without paying its mana cost at the beginning of each of your first main phases. That's crazy. I can't even fathom. I'm sorry, buddy. You're hanging off the edge. Planar Engineering is a 4-drop sorcery. Sacrifice 2 lands, search your library for 4 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. This is a very good card. This would be very good in landfall. You've got Sapling Nursery, you've got Mossborn Hydra, you've got any number of different cards that benefit from something like this, and it's not bad at all. And then we've got Triumph of the Hordes, 4-drop sorcery, poison related. I can see that. Until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample and infect. That's crazy. Again, is this playable in standard, or is this just a reprint of a card with a cool art that we're not going to be able to use? I really don't get that. I'll have to check a lot of that out when I actually look at the set later. But let's get into the next 10 cards, because this is going on forever. But I do have to look at less and less cards each 10, because there are a lot of repeats, so that helps. Alright, what do we have here at the back? Biblioplex Tomekeeper, 4-drop 3/4 construct artifact creature. When this creature enters, choose up to 1. Target creature becomes prepared. Only creatures with prepared spells can become prepared, or target creature becomes unprepared. So you can unprepare your opponent's creatures, I suppose. Unsubtle Mockery is a 3-drop instant. Unsubtle Mockery deals 4 damage to target creature and you surveil 1. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you need the 4 damage to remove creatures, that's pretty good, because at least you get the surveil on top of it. Mana cost-wise, though, I don't know that it's necessarily better. It's 1 more damage than a Lightning Strike, and a Lightning Strike's 2 mana, 3 damage. It's hard to say. Hard to say if you really need that extra 1 point of damage for most cases. Sneering Songwriter, 5-drop 3/3 Vampire Warlock. This one does not look very... It looks very underwhelming. I don't know if I would use it. It has flying, so it's a 3/3 with flying, and when this creature enters, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life, which is a nice effect, but for 5 mana, I don't think this card's worth using. We got Wild Hypothesis, is a 1-drop and X. Sorcery, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token, put X 1/1 counters on it, and then Surveil 2. Not bad at all, because it could be as big as you've got mana for. With Badger Mole, you know, that makes these cards very, very viable. So yeah, even though this is a common, probably pretty usable. Rubble Rouser is a 3-drop 1/4 dwarf sorcerer. When this creature enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. And you can tap it to exile a card from your graveyard, add 1 red to your mana pool. When you do, this creature deals 1 damage to an opponent. This is actually pretty good then. It is a discard draw kind of engine, and you can use it to generate mana for you while pinging your opponent. I've seen that kind of card effect before in red, and I know it's pretty good, especially if you have any way to untap it. Got another one of these pretty bitter triumphs. I do love the art. I do. Colossus of the Blood Age. 6-drop 6/6 artifact creature construct. When this creature enters, it deals 3 damage to each opponent and you gain 3 life. So it's a creature plus a lightning helix in 1. When this creature dies, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards plus 1. So even if you discard nothing, you gain 1. Honestly, I'm gonna be just being totally honest. I don't hate this. I know it's expensive, but it has a lot of upside. It's actually pretty interesting. Like, probably pretty usable, especially in draft. Fantastic in draft. Even if they finally get rid of it, it still gives you upside. Lumeret's Favor, 2-dropping green, instant. Infusion, when you cast this spell, copy it. If you gained life this turn, you may choose new targets for the copy. Target creature gets +2/+4 until end of turn. As a 2-drop combat trick, it's probably pretty usable. As a whole in Standard, probably not going to see a lot of play. Environmental Scientist. Human Druid. 2-drop 2/2 in green. When this creature enters, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Could be usable in a type of landfall deck, but honestly, just putting a land into your hand isn't the most useful thing in the world, so I don't know about it. Got another reprint here that looks really fantastic. It's called Helping Hand. 1 white, return target creature with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I don't remember, is this one currently in Standard? It is, isn't it? Like, already was. Really good art. Absolutely going to be used if it is a Standard card in those white kind of return your cards from your graveyard decks that we're already seeing Boros really leaning towards right now. We've got Stirring Honormancer. Looks like it's a 5 cost with 1 black, 1 white, and 1 hybrid. It is a Rhino Bard 4/5 creature. When this creature enters, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of creatures you control. Put 1 of those cards into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. It's either Mika or Micah, I'm not entirely sure. Reader of Ruins, 4-drop 4/4 human artificer, ward, pay 3 life, which is pretty okay. I don't like the pay life wards because they can just be done early on and it's not a big deal, but if you do it late, you might be costing yourself the game. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may sacrifice an artifact if you do copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. Interesting. Very interesting. I feel like I want to try and put this in like a weapons manufacturing deck, but I don't know how I would make it work exactly. Spell Pierce, stock up. Here we go. Thunderdrum Soloist, 2-drop Dwarf Bard, 1/3 with Reach, and it has Opus. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, this creature deals 3 damage to each opponent instead. Interesting. Probably pretty playable since it's a 2-drop, and the Reach isn't horrible. That actually helps quite a bit. We've got Pest Brood Sloth. It is a sloth, a plant sloth. You don't see many of those. 4-drop 4/4 with reach. When this creature dies, create 2/1/1 black and green pest creatures with, whenever this token attacks, you gain 1 life. Interesting. Usable? I don't know. In draft, probably. In standard, really unsure. Alright, looks like we've gotten to the rares here. Once again. We have Berta Wise Extrapolator. 4-drop Simic Colors, 1/4, legendary creature, Frog Druid with increment. Whenever 1 or more 1/1 counters are put on Berta, add 1 mana of any color. Pay X and tap, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token, and put X 1/1 counters on it. Pretty good. Pretty good. I could see this going into any kind of a Simic colored deck or anything where you're mana ramping. Then all of a sudden you have this creature on the battlefield that can create large creatures for you. And the increment ability is really nice because it can produce more mana for you too. I think, so we've already seen these. Wisdom of Ages, very expensive. 7-drop sorcery. Return all instant and sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. You have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game, but you exiled this card. So, I mean, if you get the 7 mana to play this, that's really, really crazy. Because if you're playing blue, you're already going to be playing a lot of instant sorcery spells, especially like counter spells. So getting all of them back and then having no max hand size is pretty good, actually. And I could see this being very, very usable in the deck that plays the, what's it called? Omniscience, Omniscience. Yeah, I would hate to see this in that deck. So, there you go. This is a good card for that deck. Pox Plague. I've seen this one. I like it. It is 5 mana, all black specific sorcery. So, pretty hard to play outside of mono black. Sorcery. Each player loses half their life, then discards half of their cards in their hand, and sacrifices half of the permanents they control of their choice. You get to round down. So, guaranteed, you are going to be sacrificing things, but so will your opponent, and that can be huge. And if you put this in a deck with the oh gosh, what's the demon called? I can't remember, but the demon that does double the damage of whatever you take, so you do this, and then it's an instant win combo with your creature. Yeah, so that's what I've seen this in. Very cool. Mono Black's going to be fun. I don't know this one, though, and this looks interesting. Moseo Vane's New Dean. 3-drop 2/1 with flying. It's pretty playable on its own. Bird, Skeleton, Warlock. So it's a skeleton. This could go in a skeleton deck, you're telling me, and that's already fun on its own. It says, when it enters, create a 1/1 green pest creature, black and green pest creature token with whenever this token attacks, you gain 1 life. Infusion at the beginning of your end step. If you gained life this turn, return up to 1 target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. This thing's really cool, and I would love to build a deck not only around this card, but around this mechanic of gaining life and getting things from your graveyard. I think Golgari Graveborn is going to be a very playable archetype in this, and I'm looking forward to it. Which sucks, because that also means Graveyard Hate is going to become even more prevalent and be not fun. We've got Blek, Loafing Pest. 3-drop Golgari is a legendary creature pest 3/4. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on each pest, bat, insect, snake, and spider you control. That's really good. Really, really good, in fact. It's only a 3-drop, but it's a 3-drop 3/4. Which is already fine on its own. It's legendary, which sucks. But it just makes everything that it says there even better. They're permanent. They're permanent +1/+1s. And you don't have to... It's anytime you gain life. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna have to build like a Golgari life gain deck. I really am. And it's gonna be fun. And I can use bats in it because of this. Very cool. Living End. Okay. Suspend. Rather than cast this card from your hand, you may pay 4 and exile it with 3 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter. When the last one's removed, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So, Each player exiles all creature cards from their graveyard, then sacrifices all creatures they control and puts all cards they exiled this way onto the battlefield. That's crazy. I can't imagine this being standard. So this must just be a cool art reprint, right? Is that how that works? I'll find out eventually, and if so, I'm disappointed. But the art looks fantastic. Got Improvisation Capstone, 7-drop Sorcery Lesson. You exile cards from the top of your library until you exile cards with total mana value 4 or greater. You may cast any number of spells from among them without paying their mana costs, and it has Paradigm. Paradigm is, exile this spell as it resolves. After you first resolve a spell with this name, you may cast a copy of it from exile without paying its mana cost at the beginning of each of your first main phases. So this thing sounds bonkers, and it could be my lack of understanding of the card, but that sounds busted. It is a 7 cost, though. Did I miss these? I must have missed these. Here we go. Grave Researcher, 3-drop, 3/3 Troll Warlock. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. Then if there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, this creature becomes prepared. The prepared spell is Reanimate. Sorcery. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose life equal to that card's mana value. So I have Reanimate. I've used it in Brawl and stuff. This being a 3/3 creature for 3 that can get that, that's really good. It does require 3 or more creature cards from your graveyard to be, or 3 or more creature cards to be in your graveyard for it to become prepared. So that helps a little bit. But you want that anyway because you're trying to reanimate those. But I think this is very usable, actually. This is a good rare. And then we've got Crop Rotation, which says specifically that it's not legal in Historic or Traditional Historic. I don't know if this is legal in Standard either. I don't understand. It is a really pretty art. Instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice land, search your library for a land card, put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. This is really good because the land that you search for doesn't have to be basic. And sacrificing land doesn't necessarily hurt you in a landfall deck, so because that can still be very helpful. Alright, next 10 cards. We're getting through them now. We've only got about 30 left to go through, but here we go. Got some interesting looking stuff there I can see already. Alright, what do we got here? Honor-bound Page, 4-drop, 3/3, Cat Cleric, first strike, and it enters prepared. The prepared spell is Forum's Favor, 1-drop sorcery, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains flying until end of turn. Not fantastic, probably usable, could be put into a cat deck very easily because it is mono white and has the upside. So that's where I'm going to go with all that. Has first strike. First strike's pretty useful, and your cats can be bigger because of Arabo and whatever the 5-drop one is that makes tokens and gives all your cats lifelink. So probably actually usable in mono white. Another Terramorphic Expanse. Wander Off. What's this? 4-drop instant, exile target creature. Not super impressive. Probably usable. Great in draft. And the art is stunning. Cost of Brilliance. 3-drop sorcery is black. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature. I don't think this is bad. It gives you the ability to put a 1/1 counter on something. It gives you card draw. Yeah, you lose a little bit of life, but drawing 2 cards and getting a 1/1 counter on a creature for 2 life is not a bad trade-off. Not at all. Got Quick Study here again. 3-drop, draw 2 cards. I think we've already seen that. Just shows first because I already have them. I don't understand how it does that. Cost of Brilliance again. Here's something new. Zealous Lorecaster is a 6-drop 4/4 giant sorcerer. When this creature enters, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. I mean, this would be good in an Azet deck, but it's really expensive, so I don't think you'd be using it for that at all. I don't think there's a good place for this in Standard. Feed the Swarm. That art is so good. 2-drop in black, destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls. You lose life equal to the permanent's mana value. This is a standard legal card, I'm pretty sure already, but I just love that art, man. These arts are so good. We've got Scalding Administrator, 2-drop 2/2 Dwarf Cleric in Orzhov colors. It has Menace and Repartee. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. When this creature dies, if it had 1/1 counters on it, put those 1/1 counters on up to one target creature. Very, very good, actually. I think this is a fantastic uncommon. This is totally usable in Orzhov colors. In Standard, this would be a good card, even though it's not a rare. And I love seeing that. I love seeing rares that are good. Dual Tactics, 1-drop red sorcery. Dual Tactics deal 1 damage to target creature. It can't block this turn, and it has flashback 2. Not the worst. The fact that it can make your opponent not able to block or even possibly pop something to kill it, and it has flashback, I think it's, I mean, like, it's a really cheap way of making your opponent not able to block when you're doing aggressive red, so I think it's pretty good. We've got Killian's Confidence. Is a 2-drop in Orzhov colors. Sorcery, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Draw a card whenever one or more creatures you control die, or deal combat damage, I'm sorry, to a player. You may pay black or white. If you do, return this card from the graveyard to your hand. That's cool. It's a combat trick that just keeps on coming back, huh? Yeah, that's really interesting. Just putting 1 or 2 of these in your deck could give you a repetitive combat trick that you get something useful out of every single time. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Got another Feed the Swarm. You know what I don't get? Why am I getting multiples of these? I get that they're bonus sheets or like different arts, but once I get, like, if I already have a playset of it and I have the art, I shouldn't be getting more, right? That's how this is supposed to work. I'm not supposed to get more of things I already have a playset of. I feel like something's not working right. Anyway, Aberrant Mana Worm, 4-drop in green, 2/5, worm creature with trample. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. That could be really interesting, actually, because this worm could be pretty big, and it has trample already, so that's not horrible. It is a 4-drop, though. The fact that it's a 4-drop makes it quite a bit worse. Encouraging Aviator, 3-drop bird wizard, flying. Whenever this creature attacks, it becomes prepared, and its prepared spell is Jump, 1-drop instant. Target creature gains flying until end of turn. It is a 2/3 bird wizard, by the way, which I may not have said. We've got Tom, Observant Sequencer, 4-drop Simic Colors Gorgon Wizard, 4/3. It is legendary. Has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, Tom becomes prepared, and its prepared spell is Deep Sight. 1 green and blue, so Simic Colors, draw a card, and gain 1 life. That's not bad, especially if that means that every time you play a land, you can play Deep Sight. I'm not totally sure, but it seems like that's how that works, and that's really, really good. End of the Hunt, 2-drop sorcery. Target opponent exiles a creature or planeswalker they control with the greatest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. I love this card. There was a different card that used to do this all the time that I used in my Rakdos decks because I had that thing that could flash it back. Except it was a 3-mana card. This is really good. I would actually use this removal because getting rid of the thing with the biggest mana value actually makes a huge deal, and it targets, or well, it affects planeswalkers as well as creatures, so I will use this. I think this is a great card. Duty Beyond Death, Pigment Wrangler, okay, 5-drop 4/4 Orc Sorcerer. It has flying, interesting, and this creature enters prepared. The prepared spell is Striking Palette, is a sorcery. When you next cast an instant or sorcery spell, this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy, and it's only 1 cost for that. As a 5-mana creature, I don't know that I would go for it, but it is still pretty interesting. The debilitating thing is that it's a 5-mana creature, like I said, but the Striking Palette isn't very expensive, at least. Got to the rares again here finally. Let's reveal. Looks like we got some new ones here almost entirely, so that's okay. We've got Jadzi, or Jadzi, Steward of Fate, 3-drop 2/4. Jadzi enters prepared. When Jadzi enters, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. So obviously a fantastic as it card as usual. Oracle's Gift is blue and double X. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token and put X 1/1 counters on it. Yeah, create X 0/0 green and blue fractal creature tokens, then put X 1/1 counters on each fractal you control. Okay, so it can make all of them bigger for that, and you get an X amount of them, where X is how much you paid in. That would be really expensive, and I can see why it says blue and green, because you'd probably be playing this in a Simic deck for the ramp. The discard and draw is really fantastic, though, for if you're playing blue or blue-red, and you could still make that work for high mana value if you're playing that stupid goblin. What we got here? Moment of Reckoning. Pretty expensive. 7 cost sorcery, and you choose up to 4. You may choose the same mode more than once. Wow, okay. Destroy target non-land permanent. Return target non-land permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And you get to do these any number of times up to 4 each. Because you could either say, I want to do destroy target non-land permanent 4 times, return target non-land permanent from graveyard to the battlefield 4 times. Interesting. Really interesting card, actually. We've got Scheming Silvertongue, 2-drop, 1/3 Vampire Warlock. I love vampires, so I'm already excited. Flying and lifelink, nice. At the beginning of your second main phase, if you gained 2 or more life this turn, this creature becomes prepared. The prepared spell is Sign in Blood, which I have seen before. 2 black specific, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. I love this already because it has Sign in Blood as its prepared spell. And I don't know if you can do the prepared spell multiple times, because I still haven't gotten to try it yet, and I don't fully understand the mechanic. But if you do, that's so good, being able to just do Sign in Blood anytime that you need it, as long as you can gain enough life. I don't know. I really like this one. I'm loving the vampires so far. Steal the Show, 3-drop sorcery. Choose one or both. Target player discards any number of cards, then draws that many cards. Steal the Show deals damage equal to the number of instant sorcery cards in your graveyard to target creature or planeswalker. It's a good thing this doesn't say to target player, because that could actually just absolutely kill someone. Yeah. Interesting. So, I mean, it's good discard draw for yourself if you're playing the Cool But Rude. I think that's what it's called. The discard spell. This thing feeds into it just fantastically. What we got here? Culling Ritual, 4-drop Golgari. This obviously looks like another reprint, so I don't know if it's standard legal. Sorcery, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Add green or black for each permanent destroyed this way. Interesting. So you can get back mana from that. This seems like it would be really fantastic against heavy population decks. Things like Badger Mole, for example, that do a whole bunch of mana dorks, or even just token decks in general. Magma Blood Archaic. You can play red or 2 mana. So if you don't have the red, you can pay 2 additional. Creature Avatar is a 2/2, potentially for 3 mana, with Trample and Reach. This creature enters with a 1/1 counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. So if you do the pay 2 and pay a lot of different mana colors, you make it bigger. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn for each color of mana spent to cast a spell. So this is a mono red card that goes best in a multicolored deck. Interesting. We've got an interesting looking dragon here, an Elder Dragon. It's legendary. It's a 5-drop 5/5 in Boros colors with flying and haste. Really good so far. Each instant and sorcery card in your hand has Miracle 2. Miracle. You may reveal a card with Miracle as it's drawn. If it's the first card you drew this turn, when you do, you may cast it for its Miracle cost. So anything you draw while this is out on the battlefield, essentially, gets that Miracle for 2 instead of paying its full mana cost. And at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. Interesting. So it also feeds itself. It lets you draw cards. Yeah, really interesting. Really, really good card, actually. Might be hard to get out for 5 mana, but if you get it out, it's going to be a threat immediately. Prismari, the Inspiration. 7-drop 7/7 Elder Dragon. So we got another dragon here in Azet colors, actually. Also legendary. Has flying and ward pay 5 life. And it has instant and sorcery spells you cast have Storm. which Storm is so busted. So this is really expensive, though. I would find it very, very difficult to get to this card to play it. Anyway, let's see the next batch. We got 14 more Strixhaven cards packs specifically, and then 6 gold packs. We're going to go through another 10 Strixhaven first, and then we'll go through 4. We don't have as much left new here to check out, which is a good thing. It makes this go a little bit faster. Got some bonus sheet stuff here. Knockout maneuver, 3-drop sorcery. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. Really good spell for just dealing damage to your opponent's things without potentially losing yours, and it grows your stuff, so that's nice. 3 drops, a little expensive, but not too bad. Spell Pierce reprint, really pretty. Campus Composer, 4-drop 3/4 Merfolk Bard. It has Ward 2, which is really good, and it enters prepared. The prepared spell is Aqueous Aria. Sorcery, create a 3/3 blue and red elemental creature token with flying. So very interesting. Usable? Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. It could go in a Merfolk deck, though. Like, you could make almost anything work in a Merfolk deck, because they just populate the board so much and are annoying. We've got Strixhaven Sky Coach, 3-drop artifact vehicle, which is a 3/2. It has flying, and when this vehicle enters, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. So maybe there's some usability there for a landfall deck. And it has Crew 2. Being able to fly and being a crew card, like, it's not the biggest, but it's fairly cheap. And it mana searches for you. So if you're playing this in a landfall deck, there's some potential there for sure, actually. Knockout maneuver again. Molten Note. This one's new. Boros, red, white, and X. Sorcery. Molten Note deals damage to target creature equal to the amount of mana spent to cast the spell. Untap all creatures you control. Interesting. So you can do this second main phase to blow something up and then untap all your creatures. And then it has flashback for 8. That's expensive. We've got Kiral History Buff. It's a 2-drop in Boros colors. It is a Vampire Cleric. I do love me some vampires. It's a 2/3. Doing red-white in vampires would be harder, but for Brawl, if you like, I like playing Octavia because it's red, white, and black. So I could fit this in that deck. Anyway, legendary creature, Vampire Cleric, 2/3 for 2 mana. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, Kiral becomes prepared. So pack a punch, 3-drop prepared sorcery. Mill a card, put 2 1/1 counters on target creature. It gains trample until end of turn. Not bad. Very interesting. Very different. Again, I could probably use it in Brawl, otherwise I don't know what I would do with that. Graduation Day. Did I not see this one already? 1-drop enchantment with Repartee. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. That's really good. 1-drop enchantment that's just like, hey, you committed a crime, let me make your stuff bigger. Pretty fantastic, actually. Practice Scrollsmith is a 3-drop in Boros colors. It has 1 red, 1 white, and 1 hybrid. Is a 3/2 with first strike, which is pretty good. And when this creature enters, exile target non-creature, non-land card from your graveyard until the end of your next turn. You may cast that card. So it's a good way to get something back from your graveyard again. And it's pretty cheap. 3-drop 3/2 with first strike is actually totally usable. So I don't hate this at all. We've got Soaring Stone Glider, 3-drop Elephant Cleric, 4/3. As an additional cost to cast the spell, exile 2 cards from your graveyard or pay 2. Which would make it a 5-cost 4/3. It has flying and vigilance, but exiling 2 things from your graveyard isn't that bad. So this is actually pretty usable too, I would think. We got a reprint for Abrade. Again, fantastic, fantastic art. I love that. Locust Spray. 1-drop, target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, or you can pay 1 black to cycle it. Again, fantastic art. There's the Molten Note, which we did already get to see. Reveal our rares. Just starting from the left here, Cauldron of Essence. This looks interesting. Golgari colors, 3-drop. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I love that. I love that already. Does mean that if they're playing like Rest in Peace or something, that hurts. But and then it has pay 3, tap, sacrifice a creature, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate only as a sorcery. Man, this thing's good. This thing's really, really good. Golgari graveyard decks are totally going to be viable, and this thing is going to just feed it. You get a little 1/1 creature. Imagine just having that little 1/1 dude that, like, when he dies, you get to surveil or scry, and it creates a treasure token. You just sack him to bring out like a 7/7 or something. Ooh, this thing's going to be fun. And I got 2 of them. That's actually sick. Got the Boros land here too. We got Sundown Pass. This land enters tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. Crop rotation we already saw earlier. Here we go. We got something here. Jeska's Will. 3-drop sorcery. Choose one if you control a commander as you cast the spell. You may choose both instead. So this is very intentionally meant for commander. Or brawl, I guess I should say. Add 1 red mana for each card in target opponent's hand. Okay. And or exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. We've got Withering Curse. Oh, I love this. I definitely want more of this too. I didn't realize it was a mythic. That kind of sucks, but this card is so good. 3 black sorcery. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn, and infusion. If you gained life this turn, destroy all creatures instead. So if you gained life, it's just straight up blow up board. And if you didn't, then it's still a -2/-2 to everything on the board for 3 mana, which is early black removal. That is fantastic. I love this. Love this card. Okay, we got 4 more Strixhaven packs to go through, and then 6 gold packs. Definitely looking a lot lighter on things through here, but we'll see. Return the Favor, did get to look at that earlier. Bogwater Illumerette. 2-drop in Golgari colors, so 1 black, 1 green. He's a 2/2 spirit frog creature. And when this creature or another creature you control enters, gain 1 life. That's really good. Really good in Golgari, too, actually. I know it's a 2-drop 2/2, but being able to gain life just from having a creature enter the battlefield really feeds into the things that you want with this color combination in this set. Ooh, we got another vampire. Let's see. Arnon Deathbloom, Botanist, 3-drop 2/2 vampire druid. It is legendary. It has Death Touch, and whenever a creature you control with power or toughness 1 or less dies, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. You could do a lot with that. You could really do a lot with that in a sacrifice deck, so I could totally make this work. Very interesting card. Leech Collector, 2-drop 2/2 human warlock. When you gain life for the first time each turn, this creature becomes prepared. The prepared spell is Bloodletting, which each opponent loses 2 life. Very interesting depending on how that prepared mechanic works. We've got Lettering Scorn Mage, a 1-drop 1/1 human warlock with repartee. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. As a 1-drop 1/1 that just gets bigger when you commit a crime, essentially, this is actually really, really good, because this makes your kill spells fantastic. I would put this in a mono black deck in a heartbeat and actually really enjoy it. Let's see, Lewin Exchange Student, 4-drop in Golgari colors, 1 black, 1 green specific. It is a 3/4 elf druid that is a legendary creature for 4 mana. Lewin enters prepared. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Lewin becomes prepared. So it enters prepared, and if you exile a creature card from your graveyard, it becomes prepared, and you can do that as a sorcery. And then its prepared spell is Pest Friend. It's a sorcery for hybrid green or black, so Golgari. Create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with, whenever this token attacks, you gain 1 life. Very interesting, actually. Probably pretty usable. Plays into the mechanics well. Isn't overly expensive. Pretty interesting. Sleight of Hand, 1-drop. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the other on the bottom of your library. 1-drop mana, really good art, really usable. Ennis Debate Moderator, 2-drop 1/1 human cleric, legendary creature. When Ennis enters, exile up to 1 target creature you control. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. At the beginning of your end step, if one or more cards were put into exile this turn, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. So, yeah, interesting. Grows, fuels itself, good for your self-blink stuff. Very interesting. Let's reveal the rares. What do we got? Another bonus sheet here. Pensive Professor, 3-drop Human Wizard, 0/2. Increment whenever one or more 1/1 counters are put onto this creature. Draw a card. Drawing cards is real nice. We got another Fix What's Broken. Interesting. Very interesting. We do have our last 6 here, the gold packs. Let's see what we get. Lot of cards here. We're just going to go ahead and reveal all. Obviously, all these aren't going to be brand new, but still, this is going to be interesting. Here's something new, and it's one of the new cards. So, Geometer's Arthropod is a 2-drop in Simic Colors Fractal Crab, a 1/4. Whenever you cast a spell with X in its mana cost, look at the top X cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Very interesting. That's a really good card for Simic, especially because you're often playing ramp into like X cards. So yeah, really cool. What else do we got here? This is new, but I guess I already looked at it. This is new. What do we got here? Stirring Hope Singer is a 3-drop Bird Bard, 1/3 flying and lifelink and repartee. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell that targets a creature, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Informed Inknight or Inkwright, 2-drop Human Wizard with Vigilance and repartee. It is a 2/2 creature, but whenever you cast a spell, an instant or sorcery that targets a creature, create a 1/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. Very interesting. The flying helps. This is a good rare, actually. Got another one of these Cauldron Essences. Those are cool. What do we got here? Balin the Haymaker is a 3-drop, 3-color. It's interesting. I think, was that Naya? I could be wrong. I think that's Naya, though. Red, white, and green. Legendary creature Rabbit Warrior, 4/3. Tap 2 untapped tokens you control, add 1 mana of any color. Tap 3 untapped tokens you control, draw a card. Tap 4 untapped tokens you control, put 3 1/1 counters on Balin. It gains trample until end of turn. None of that says that it's instant or sorcery speed or how many times you can do it. So interesting. I'm not sure how that works at all. We did get another one of the lands here with a, what is this called? Is that colored? Practiced Offense, 3-drop sorcery, put a 1/1 counter on each creature target player controls. Target creature gains your choice of double strike or lifelink until end of turn, and it has flashback. Pretty good. We got another one of these knights. Vicious Rivalry. This is new. What does this do? Golgari Colors, full drop sorcery. As an additional cost to cast the spell, pay X life. Destroy all artifacts and creatures with mana value X or less. It's actually really nice. You do have to pay a life for it, so that makes it a bit worse. But the fact that you can basically wipe the board and wipe artifacts actually makes this huge. We've got Math Magics. 2-drop and 2x, sorcery, target player draws 2 cards, then lots of math. I'm never using this card, ever. I don't even want to look at it again. And then we've got Silver Quill, the Disputant. It's 4-drop in Orzhov, black and white. 4/4 Elder Dragon, flying and vigilance. 4-drop dragon's interesting. Each instant and sorcery spell you cast has Casualty 1. Casualty 1, as you cast this spell, you may sacrifice a creature with power 1 or greater. When you do, copy the spell, and it has any target you choose for the new targets of the copy. Interesting. This thing's going to be crazy, I think. It could do an absolute ton of things. So, really hard to plan that for me right now, but like it has a lot of usability in an Orzhov sacrifice deck, I could imagine. Anyway, that looks like it is it for all the cards that I got. You can kind of see some of the other stuff I've got here. And I did get other new cards too, like the Pox Plague and stuff like that I already had. Here's a second Molten Maestro, you know. Very cool stuff. I'm looking forward to the Golgari stuff and the Mono Black stuff the most, I think. So if you're looking forward to those, definitely stick around and watch some of the videos that I've got coming. But that, I think, is where my interest is most peaked. I'm pretty sad I didn't get more of the Planeswalkers. I know I really want Ral, and I'm probably going to have to spend some of my wild cards on that and such. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you had fun with this, and hopefully you check out the actual deck builds that come from this going forward.